Ghana Means Business, brought to you by Goil. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Honorable Kwame Osei-Prempeh is a Group Chief Executive Officer, MD and Director at the Ghana Oil Company Limited. Mr. Osei-Prempeh was previously employed as a council member by the Ghana Prison Service. He also served on the board of Gratis Foundation, Public Procurement Authority, and Tema Steel Company Limited, and is a lawyer by profession. He was the Member of Parliament for the Nsuta Kwamang Biposo constituency from January 1997 to January 2013. He was the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice from June 2006 to January 2009. Honorable Kwame Osei-Prempeh holds a certificate in legislative drafting and Master of Arts in Conflict, Peace and Security from the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Honorable Kwame Osei-Prempeh is married with 4 children. He's a Christian and a member of the Adventist Church.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Honorable Kwame Osei-Prempeh, what a delightful pleasure to finally be with you. For most of us who have watched you from afar, your rise to success over the years has been amazing. Can you share with us your background and your early recollections of how and where you grew up?
Thank you very much, Anafridia, Anapambo, for this opportunity. I followed your program on air, and I always find it very amazing. So this is an opportune moment for me to have this chance to be with you. Kwame Osei-Prempeh was born as a Kwaman in the Ashanti region. My parents are poor peasant farmers. I grew up at Kwaman. Attended Kwaman early primary school, Kwaman early middle school. Let me say that I'm the 4th of my parents' 6 children. I'm the only one who had the opportunity to go to secondary school. And I had my early education, secondary school, aside from Antoine, Form 1, Form 2, and then went to Aguna SDA, where I did my O-levels. Had my 6th form education at Bekwa SDA, and continued at KNUST, then UST, to do social sciences in law and sociology. Let me say that it was God's blessing which saw me through that, because I nearly missed secondary school because of poverty. Those days in Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, I passed common entrance. Got admission to Boguari, but because of poverty, I couldn't go.
That was Form 2,
Form 2,
3.
middle school,
Middle
Form
school.
2, Form 3, I passed, got to Boguari. Form 4, I passed, got admission to Ghana Secondary School, I couldn't go. finally I found myself at Antwerp Secondary School, which was a new school, then in Form 3, and stayed with somebody as a day student to have my secondary education. By dint of hard work and God's grace, after my first year in secondary school, I had a scholarship.
At that time, was it the Cocoa Marketing Board?
At that time, it was Cocoa. In fact, I first had government bursary, and then the end of the year, the headmaster, without me knowing, applied for Cocoa Board and gave the Cocoa Board scholarship. After he had interviewed me and asked for my background and how I was performing, he was amazed. It was a small school with a library of less than 200 books. In my first 2 terms in the school, I had read every book in the library.
Oh, wow.
So the headmaster, sometimes you go there, look at the books, those who collect books from the library, and he found my name everywhere, every day. So one day the headmaster called me. I was in Form 1. I was shivering. Headmaster is calling you. I went and he asked about my background. I told him. I said, you are very promising. I'm going to help you. He was a Presbyterian Reverend Minister, Reverend Fusuhin. Okay. And he helped me a lot. So he gave me a scholarship, and I was able to move to the boarding house in Form 2. But I believe, I don't know, my instincts told me that I needed a change. So I was trying to move from there to one of the so-called big schools in Kumasi. Opokuare, Prempeh, Osei-Prempeh. I tried, but I couldn't. So finally I found myself at GhMeansBiz, but it was divine. At GhMeansBiz, I became a star there, passed my O-level very well, did my 6-4 GhMeansBiz. And my aim at that time was to come to Legon to do law.
Why law?
I had always loved law. I've loved reading. Let me say that while in primary school, there was a revenue inspector at Kwame. He distributed daily graphic over the weekends. I love reading. Myself and my younger brother, one behind. So we offered to sell the newspaper for him. That was, I was in about primary 5 or 6. So every weekend, we go around distributing the newspapers. He paid us nothing. All we wanted was that we get copies of the newspaper to read, especially the Mirror, Spectator, and Graphic.
Which was I think the Weekly Spectator.
Weekly Spectator.
Which came out on Saturdays.
Yes, and the Sunday Mirror.
So Mirror came out on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it was called Sunday Mirror. It came on Saturday, but it was called Sunday Mirror.
Okay.
So we take it, and it was like a Bible to us. I will read every page of the Graphic, every page of the Mirror, every page of the Spectator.
What period was it? What year was this?
Between 1966, 67, 68.
So getting towards the era, the end of Nkrumah's era.
Nkrumah's era. So I'll read everything. And I developed an interest in reading. I read about people, lawyers, and others. And getting to 68, one person who I fancied most, VCREC Crab. It was a lecturer. I would read about him, and that I developed interest in law.
Okay.
At that early age. Wow. So from sixth form, I did government, economics, and literature.
Oh wow!
Because my focus was to do law.
And general paper, of course.
And general paper, of course. Unfortunately, that year, the Legon cutoff point was 7, A-level. I had 8. Okay. And so I couldn't have the chance.
Okay.
KNUST offered me English, law, and sociology. So I decided to go to University, Social Sciences. Because I thought it would help me get the basis in law. I did that. So after that, I did my national service. At that time, they was that after national service, you have to work for 2 years before you go to law school. You can apply to do law, QCL. So after 2 years, I applied. I sat for the exams, and I passed. And then I started the law. At that time, the postgraduate QCL was 1 year. Okay. So I had to do it at Legon 1 year.
At Legon?
At Legon 1 year. Some of my mates, Tony Otinjesi was my mate.
Okay. AGI?
Yes. And from there, came to the law school. I completed the law school in 1989.
1989?
Yes.
Ghana had changed a lot by 1989.
Oh yeah, Ghana had changed a lot by 1989.
Our politics and the whole landscape had changed. What are your recollections of Ghana in 1989? 89, I guess.
1989 was the Lawrence regime.
How was that era?
Indeed,
and being in school at that time?
Indeed, it was, for some of us, tense. It was a moment everybody seemed to be afraid of something.
Generally within the atmosphere?
Generally within the atmosphere. Of course, let me say that from 82 to 89, the tempo of the revolution had gone down a bit. But it wasn't easy. Still, people found themselves not to be, the dispensation.
We didn't have a constitution at that time?
No.
We didn't have a parliamentary regime.
No constitution.
So how were laws enacted and how were laws passed and administered?
Well, in military regime, the executive was written. They passed the law, they signed it, everything. There was no parliament, so they did it. After every coup, parliament is the first casualty. The executive is removed, parliament is abolished. So parliament was abolished. The 79 parliament was abolished. And
what about the judiciary?
The judiciary always remained intact. Sometimes it changes form. There have been times when the Court of Appeal was the highest court in Ghana. Then, by the times the Supreme Court came on board, but the judiciary has always remained, despite all the coups from 1966, 72, 81. In all instances, the Supreme Court remained the Supreme Court. They were not touched.
So where did you start your law practice? Tell me. And whose chambers was it?
I started my law practice in Kumasi. Chambers near Kejetia. My first senior was Philip Abwaji Bona, a lawyer who was also a politician. In fact, I joined the chambers in 1990. After law school in 1989, I looked at myself and decided that.
So immediately after law school?
Immediately after law school, indeed, that's what I'm coming to. After law school, I thought I could not go to chambers straight away. So I found myself in London.
Oh, wow.
Doing some odd jobs. I've done everything, doing cleaning, doing...
So this is 1990?
That was between 89
and
90.
Okay.
So I found myself there for about 8 months.
Were you married at that time?
Yes, I was married.
Okay.
I was married.
When did you get married?
I got married in 1984.
Oh, okay. You were in London in 1990?
1989 to 1990, doing odd jobs. I came back in April 1990.
So you only stayed for 1 year?
Less than 1 year.
You didn't really...
In fact, I went there for a purpose.
Okay.
I needed to get some money to get myself some nice shoes and gown and wig and those things to allow me to practice.
Career.
So as soon as I believe I have had that, I had some small money which would enable me to buy a small car. I came back and I was called to the bar in April 1990. So straight away I went to Kumasi and joined Philip Abwajibona. Indeed, at that time, my ambition was to join Nana Akufo-Addo in his chambers.
Oh, so you've known Nana Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, for quite a while?
Yeah, through an elder man from my hometown who was an arts friend, Ajewa. Okay. He wanted me to join the chambers, but I found that Accra was tough for me. During the law school, I stayed with my brother and some cousins, and I thought in Kumasi I'll be more comfortable. Absolutely. So I went to Kumasi and joined Mr. Abwajibona in the chambers. I was there for 4 years, and then I joined my cousin George Sapon at the Pampaso. Yes, yes. Yes, if I did close to your father's house. Yes, yes, yes. I joined him there at George Sapon Legal Services. But it was a chamber which helped a lot of us. I was there with the current First Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Joe Sewusu. Yes. And then the late Justice Anthony Bois, former Court Appeal judge. And that's really where we learned the law. Can you share with us the most important landmark case you took whilst you were in Lawyer Sapon's office? Indeed, I remember one case which I took it, the case I took it from Mr. Abwajibona's chambers, NSC chambers, to that place. A man from Eastern region disappeared. Before he disappeared, he had cultivated large tracts of oil palm with the wife and children. And then he got lost as he disappeared. Then the family decided to take the farm from the widow. In fact, the man was financed by then GOPDC, Ghana Oil Palm Development Company, with headquarters at Kwai. Yes. And so they sued, the family sued the woman and the company. Luckily, through a friend, the company engaged me as their solicitor for the case. First from Circuit Court at Nkoko, but the judge was unfair. Indeed, he slapped an injunction on the poor widow. Then my argument was that there's presumption of death only after 7 years. That's the law. So if the man had disappeared for a year, you cannot say that the man is dead and therefore you are taking the property from the widow. The matter ended in Court of Appeal, and we won the case. So you had to go to Court of Appeal? Yes, at that young age, and the Court of Appeal quashed the decision of the Circuit Court, and the woman and the children at least enjoyed the farm. I don't know what happened after. So the man was still never found? Well, he was still never found. He was still never found. But I don't know what happened to the farm after the 7-year period had elapsed, because by that time I have left law for politics. That is my next question, Honorable.
Ghana means business. Your story, our message.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Ghana Means Business. Your story, our message.
Now, based on the trajectory that you're talking about, where and how did this interest in politics come about? At what point?
Well, let me say that I've always been interested in politics.
Why?
I don't know, because I from my beginning, at the age of 15, when I was a secondary school student, I was the secretary to the town development committee of Kwame. Secondary school for
15 years.
15 years. I love serving people, serving my people. And I saw politics as an avenue to serve people. So I had that interest in politics. So after law school, when I went to Kumasi, that was the period leading to the return to constitutional rule. Lawyer Obi Menu and others at Ratakregima, who I took like as an uncle, were organized, mobilizing people, and then Kobusia Club was formed in Kumasi. But at that time, the meeting place was KO, which was near our chambers at KGTSAT. And we used to attend their meetings. And the people who went to the meetings very much afraid, because the CDR or PDs who could attack people.
What year was this?
That was 1990, 91.
So still there was that.
There was that
atmosphere
there was that atmosphere. So
and
normally
we didn't
what
have a
we did.
constitution at that time.
No constitution at that time. So what we did was.
And multi-party politics hadn't also been.
No, multi-party started in 1992.
Okay.
It had not been sanctioned.
Okay.
So when they were having.
So these gatherings were, I mean, to put it technically, or to put it in a realistic terms, they were illegal gatherings under the regime at that time.
Yeah, yes, under the regime at that time. And in fact, sometimes they will be there and the CDRs will go and attack them.
Okay.
But the lawyers, we provided shield to people. The people, at that time, there were barbers on the playground, the people who want to go there, but some were afraid. But if they saw the lawyers going, some of them would follow us. So we became part of the Damkovisia club. And we tried to form branches. So I decided that I would form a branch in my constituency, in Suta headquarters. I contacted one old politician, he's called GhMeansBiz, of but indeed he was sentenced to death under Nkrumah's regime for the Kulungungu bomb.
Okay.
Yes. And he became a member of parliament and a ministerial secretary under Busia. So I went to see him at Insuta, and he was very happy about that. So he formed a branch there and inaugurated it.
And what year was this?
That year was 1992,
okay.
Early 1992. Just before the ban on, that was 1991. That was before the ban on politics was lifted. So we used to go for meetings. In fact, at that time, I had no intention of coming to parliament. I had in mind 2 cousins of mine, my former senior in Chambers, George Sapon, and then a cousin, my first cousin, who died in between that time. I believe one of them should go. I was just too young at the bar, just 2 years at the bar at that time. But incidentally, one died, the other refused to.
Okay.
So this Mr. GhMeansBiz sat me down one day and said, young man, I see you are a brave person. You can lead and you are humble. You can lead people. So I want you to be our MP, and I'll support you.
So what year was this now?
That year was 1992.
Okay. So finally the constitution had been...
At that time, we were, the ban on party politics had been lifted,
okay.
and we were in the formative years of the MPP. So I accepted it.
So this was under the leadership of Professor Dubois.
Professor Dubois eventually became our flag bearer.
Okay.
So
but who were the major contestants at this time?
At that time, Professor, in our party.
Yes,
in our party, Professor Dubois, Jan Sebi, J. Addison, J. Kufuor, Lawyer Kodia, I believe they were.
These were pillars at that time.
At that time, they contested for the primaries, and the Dubois won.
Okay.
So that's how come I contested primaries with the late Asrambadapa, and won in 1992 to contest on the ticket of the MPP. Unfortunately, after the presidential election, at that time, the presidential and parliamentary elections were held on different days.
Okay.
So after the presidential election, which we in MPP believe was rigged, we decided to boycott the parliamentary election.
All the parliamentary candidates?
All the parliamentary candidates of the MPP, we boycotted the parliamentary elections.
In
1992 elections.
Okay.
We boycotted it.
What about the presidential?
The presidential had been held earlier.
Okay.
And we thought we had.
So was that the stolen verdict?
That brought about the stolen verdict.
Okay.
Yes. So the parliamentary was boycotted, and therefore I could not come to Parliament in 1992.
So it was Parliament just consisted of the NDC.
Of the NDC and its affiliate political parties.
Like the Eagle Party and those.
Yes.
The CPP.
Plus only one independent, Hawa Yakubu.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
From Boko.
From Boko.
I see.
As the only independent candidate there.
Interestingly, why did she stand as independent?
Well, he decided to go independent at that time. I don't know.
Okay.
Why, but he stood as independent and she won.
Okay.
And he became, indeed, she became the only truly dissenting voice in Parliament.
That was a brave woman.
It was a brave woman. She was a brave woman. Hawa was brave, and she did very well and inspired a lot of us.
That's right.
Yes. So eventually, I had to go back to my chambers and work. And after, in 1996, I had the opportunity to contest again. And I won and came to Parliament on 7th June 1997.
Folks, to meet a living legend and capture an interview of this magnitude in a one-period session is just an impossibility. So stay tuned, same time, same place, next week for the second part of our interview with Honorable Kwame Osei-Prempeh, Group CEO and Managing Director of Goil Ghana Limited. See ya.